Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal episode number 569 based on novel. So let's start. That man looked panicked and quickly replied. They turned into rays of light that flew toward the Red Mountain. Wang Lin was about to leave the man's body when he thought of something. He maintained his current state and went along with them. Perhaps it was because a divine sense had just spread out and the three of them weren't checked by any more divine senses. They successfully closed in on the Red Mountain. We have to be faster. Once we finish with Ancestor Yanglu, we still have to go to the other main peaks and can't be delayed. Song Yin, we will wait for you head. Catch up once you deliver them, the woman who spoke before said, and the other woman nodded in agreement. The three scattered. The woman named Song Ying charged at the Red Mountain. The other woman and the man Wang Lin was in changed directions. They bypassed the Red Mountain and went off into the distance. Wang Lin didn't hesitate to change into smoke, leaving the man. He surrounded the woman named Song Ying and flew toward the Red Mountain with her. The female disciple named Song Ying didn't look old and was very beautiful, and her body gave off the fragrance of a virgin. She turned into a ray of red light and flew toward the mountain peak. She stopped in the air outside the mountain. There was a fuzzy light curtain protecting the mountain. She took out a red jade and was going to press it against the light curtain. At this moment, Wang Lin split a part of his divine sense toward the red jade and used his full power to study it. A soft crackling sound came from the jade. When the jade was pressed against the light curtain, Wang Lin withdrew his divine sense. The light curtain trembled and ripples echoed. The woman put away the jade and stepped into the light curtain. At this moment, inside her clothes, the smoke Wang Lin had turned into distorted. He had used his restriction essence to imitate the jade, and he silently entered with her. The moment Wang Lin entered, excitement appeared in his heart. There was a large amount of fire essence inside, as if just breathing once would strengthen his fire essence. However, similarly, there was an early-stage void turbulent female cultivator who Wang Lin dreaded. He didn't immediately leave this woman, he stayed with her for a while. This woman seemed to feel uncomfortable with the heat here. The moment she entered, she was covered in a fragrant sweat. She flew toward the caves to deliver the soul-split fruit. As Wang Lin observed, there was a total of 19 caves in this mountain. Aside from the cave at the top, she sent a fruit to each of the other caves. Each cave was filled with vitality, and there was a great soul sect disciple inside each one. Shortly after, the woman arrived outside the last cave. By now she was soaked in sweat due to the heat wave. Senior sister, the soul-split fruit is here. The woman's voice was a bit weak as she spoke outside the cave. Put it down. A soft voice came from the closed door of the cave. When Wang Lin heard this, his mind trembled. It's her. Wang Lin pondered. The woman covered in fragrant sweat took out 9 greenish-white celestial fruits bursting with cold energy. He left the woman and attached to the leaf of a fruit. The woman named Song Ying clasped her hands and respectfully left. She flew out from the light curtain and disappeared. At the same time, the door to the cave opened a sliver and a suction force pulled the fruits inside. Then the door to the cave closed. Inside the cave, there was a fluorescent light. The celestial fruits that were pulled into the cave were put on a stone table. A woman in pink was sitting not far away. She was very beautiful and had a temperament that made her the beauty of a generation. She was frowning and looked a bit depressed. She wasn't cultivating but looked ahead, it was unknown what she was thinking about. Wang Lin hid on the leaf of the fruit and also pondered as he looked at the woman. After a long time, the woman in pink let out a sigh and closed her eyes to try to cultivate. However, just at this moment, a calm voice appeared in her mind. Fan Shanlu. The moment this voice appeared, the woman in pink suddenly opened her eyes and her right hand under her sleeves trembled. She immediately raised her right hand and waved. This wave caused mist to appear and completely seal off the cave. Wang Lin. Where are you? Fan Shanlu took a deep breath and looked around. Although she looked calm, the trembling in her right hand revealed the shock in her heart. Wang Lin didn't immediately appear but looked at the mist Fang Shanlu had created. This mist was very strange. Its job was to seal all auras inside the cave so no one outside could detect anything inside. This was subconscious behavior from Fan Shanlu. Wang Lin looked at these details to obtain the bigger picture. He pondered a bit before the smoke left the leaf of the fruit and he appeared before Fan Shanlu. Long time no see. Wang Lin revealed a smile as he looked at Fan Shanlu, and his gaze swept by the mist. After seeing Wang Lin, Fan Shanlu was stunned for a long time before revealing a smile. It has been a long time. I didn't think you would come here. This fog is for when core disciples of the Great Soul sect go into closed-door cultivation. Once the fog appears, teacher's divine sense won't casually sweep by, so it's safe here. Fan Shanlu's smile was joyous. She didn't expect to meet Wang Lin here. However, her gratitude toward Wang Lin was still there and hadn't dissipated with time. What happened in the cave world had become part of her life. If not for Wang Lin, she wouldn't have been able to return home. Fan Shanlu also admired Wang Lin. Wang Lin sat down. After hearing her explanation and observing her reactions, Wang Lin relaxed a little. However, he was still cautious, and if Fan Shanlu had any other thoughts, he would attack without hesitation. You're still as cautious. But that is good. You need to be cautious on the immortal astral continent in order to survive. Fan Shanlu smiled as she looked at Wang Lin. 3 years ago, I met with the Gui Yi sect's Unifeng and mentioned you. According to our calculations, you should have came to the immortal astral continent a long time ago, but we still hadn't heard of you. Perhaps something happened or you were somewhere far away. I didn't expect to meet you here today. Fan Shanlu blinked and laughed. There were some accidents along the way, so I'm a bit late. I'm glad to see you. Wang Lin smiled. It was rare to meet someone familiar on the immortal astral continent, which made Wang Lin feel a hint of warmth. In truth, Fan Shanlu felt the same, a hint of warmth. After all, she had spent most of her life in the cave. Her relationship with the Great Soul sect was only in name, and it was actually very unfamiliar to her now. Speak. You came to the Great Soul sect and came to my cave. There must be a reason. If there is a need for my help, I'll try my best. The depressed feelings Fan Shanlu had faded when Wang Lin arrived and was replaced by sincere joy. Wang Lin could feel Fan Shanlu's joy, and this made his heart feel warm. He smiled silently for a moment and then spoke. I need the main earth fire vein to cultivate. It may affect the main earth fire vein here. Fan Shanlu pondered, and after a long time, she nodded. No problem. I can take you to the closed-door cultivation location for the earth fire vein. Teacher should be easy to deal with. She is in closed-door cultivation most of the time and occasionally spreads out her divine sense. She won't check on closed-door cultivation disciples too often to not affect them. The main problem is my elder sister. She is also on this flame mountain. However, she has caught the attention of teacher, so she won't casually come out. How about this? I'll accompany you to the fire room, and if others ask, I'm in closed-door cultivation. However, it can't take long, or else others will begin asking questions. Fan Shanlu was decisive and quickly came up with an idea. Wang Lin pondered and slowly said, that would not be good for you. When Fan Shanlu heard this, her expression softened and she shook her head with a smile. No problem. Teacher also protects her own, I know my limits. Wang Lin's expression was serious as he got up and clasped his hands at Fan Shanlu. Many thanks. No need to thank me, I wanted to thank you. If not for you, I wouldn't have been able to return to the immortal astral continent. Fan Shanlu got up. This matter should not be delayed, we should get going. I'm going to have to ask you to endure hiding in me. As Fan Shanlu said this, she blushed. Wang Lin nodded and turned into smoke. He entered her sleeve and wrapped around her skin. This way, if she made any hidden movements, Wang Lin would immediately detect it. His cautious nature wouldn't change because of the person, location, or their words. Fan Shanlu sorted her clothes, and once her expression returned to normal, she waved her jade-like hand to dispel the mist. She walked out from the cave. She didn't pause at all along the way. Not too fast or slow, she made her way toward a giant cave at the base of the Red Mountain. It was the spot closest to the main earth fire vein that their teacher had opened up for her disciples to use for closed-door cultivation. Fan Shanlu wasn't stopped at all on her way to the cave under the mountain. Even when she passed by other people's caves, when they noticed it was Fan Shanlu, they no longer cared. They didn't think an outsider could enter here under the watch of their teacher. Fan Shanlu was also a core disciple, and her elder sister had caught the attention of their teacher. It looked like their teacher was going to make her the inheritor. As a result, the other members of the sect wouldn't cause any problems for Fan Shanlu. She smoothly arrived at the cave at the bottom and stopped outside a stone room. The door to this stone room was red and gave off an endless amount of heat. An ordinary cultivator would feel like their blood was boiling just when standing outside, much less inside. To be more precise, this stone room was opened inside the main earth fire vein. Cultivating inside was the same as cultivating inside the main earth fire vein. This place wasn't made to only cultivate the fire essence. Under the wool of the earth fire vein, aside from water essence, all other ethereal essences could be cultivated here. The key was to borrow the pressure formed by the fire here, which could achieve an effect similar to time distortion. A day here was equal to several days outside due to the pressure. This stone chamber was the most valuable place in this mountain, and only core disciples could enter. Fan Shanlu told Wang Lin all of this as they closed in. At this moment, outside the stone room, Fan Shanlu waved her right hand and the red door opened up a sliver for a person to pass through. The moment the door opened, a crazed roar came out from within. Shortly after, a sea of fire spread out from the opening and turned into a fire dragon that attempted to devour Fan Shanlu. Fan Shanlu's eyes lit up. As the fire dragon closed in, she softly spoke and made a strange sound. Ju. Once this sound appeared, the fire dragon trembled and collapsed into specks of fire before Fan Shanlu. She no longer hesitated and walked into the opening of the door. After she entered, the door slowly closed. When this happened, at the cave on top of the mountain, a young woman around age 30 who was wearing a white Daoist robe suddenly opened her eyes. The young woman was extremely stunning and could cause the heart of anyone who saw her to skip a beat. Her eyebrows were like the crescent moon, eyes like the phoenix, and there were some shining 5-star decorations on her forehead, making her look very alluring. She seemed to casually look ahead, and her divine sense went out to the stone room below. However, a divine sense didn't enter, it returned after sweeping once. This is the first time Lua has come here since returning to the sect. It is good for her to forget all those things that bother her. This young woman was Fan Shanlu's teacher. Opposite of this young woman was a woman that looked similar to Fan Shanlu but was obviously colder. Wang Lin was also familiar with this woman, it was Fan Shanmeng. Her eyelashes trembled and she slowly opened her eyes. After pondering a bit, she let out a sigh and closed her eyes to continue cultivating. Inside the stone room at the bottom of the mountain, Fan Shanlu felt the heat wave from the cave and sweat appeared on her forehead. This was only secondary, a will of fire came from all sides of the cave, creating a powerful pressure. Anyone who entered would be shrouded by this pressure. You would need to sit down and adjust yourself to the pressure first. I can't enter too deep into the stone room. I haven't come here in a long time and can only wait for you here. As Fan Shanlu spoke, a strand of smoke came out of her sleeve. Wang Lin appeared beside her. As soon as Wang Lin appeared, the surrounding heat rushed toward him. However, just as they closed in, Wang Lin inhaled the heat wave. Wang Lin's expression remained the same. The inhaled heat wave turned into fire essence that nourished his body. It is indeed the main vein. This heat wave is equal to more than a dozen branches. Wang Lin's eyes lit up. This was the place he was looking for. Looking at the stone room, it was not square, and it wasn't even really a stone room. This was a long strip where the surrounding walls were red. The deeper one went, the more shocking the red color became. Every 10 feet is a new level, and there is a total of 370 feet. You can find the best spot for your needs. In just a moment, Fan Shanlu was almost soaked in sweat, and she sat down by the door. You can leave in 3 days. I'll probably take a bit longer here. If you do that, it won't affect you too much if I cause some change. Wang Lin clasped his hands at Fan Shanlu and went into the depths of the room. In a flash, he moved more than 200 feet. The moment he landed, a large surge of fire surrounded him but was immediately absorbed by him. With another step, Wang Lin was 370 feet deep into the cave. This was the deepest part of the cave. Wang Lin sat down and didn't hesitate to press his hand on the ground. At this moment, he was inside the main fire vein to devour its fire essence and will. And to do it among the powerhouses of the Great Soul Sect was the same as pulling a tooth out of a tiger's mouth. Fan Shanlu watched Wang Lin's figure go into the depths of the cave. The higher temperature from the walls made it impossible to see him clearly. After a long time, she let out a sigh and closed her eyes to begin cultivating. As for Wang Lin, his eyes shined and he placed his hands on the earth. Waves of fire essence rushed toward his hands and entered his body. Wang Lin's body was gradually surrounded by fire, and 3 days later his aura disappeared. He had become one with the earth fire vein and was extremely difficult to detect. At this point, his divine sense slowly spread out toward the bottom of the stone room, heading toward the main earth fire vein. Wang Lin's body had been saturated with fire essence, so absorbing more wouldn't help him complete his essence true body. What he needed to do was devour the will of the earth fire vein. Only by devouring that will and becoming the Lord of the Fire in the Heavenly Bull continent could Wang Lin's fire essence true body form completely. This time, I must succeed. Wang Lin's divine sense turned into his essence true body in the earth fire vein. Although the head was still that of a vermilion bird, which looked strange, the essence and will of fire coming from it was shocking. With his divine sense, Wang Lin could see that the main earth fire vein was an endless fire dragon lying in the depths of the earth. It gave off an ancient aura of decay as if it had existed for countless years and was formed by the main earth fire vein. It had no intelligence, only a will. This will was like the might of the heavens, and it continuously applied pressure on Wang Lin. Wang Lin's essence true body's eyes lit up and revealed a cold smile. Not only did he not dodge, but as the will closed in on him, he began to devour it. Devour this will. Nourish his own will. Form his own will of fire. While he devoured, the entire main earth fire vein trembled. Following that, an even more powerful will of fire suddenly appeared, as if it wanted to crush Wang Lin. But this wasn't Wang Lin's real body, it was his essence true body. So not only did it not cause him any discomfort, it allowed him to devour even more. His head began to show signs of change. His chin was no longer that of a vermilion bird, skin could be seen. This change caused Wang Lin to become spirited. Follow this will to the head of the soul of this main earth fire vein. If I absorb the will there, my essence true body will be complete. Wang Lin knew that time was of the essence, so he didn't hesitate. He followed the main earth fire vein into the depths of the earth. He was going to find the head of the soul of the main earth fire vein. He had to complete forming his essence true body before the powerhouses of the Great Soul Sect found him, or else everything would be lost. In a flash, 3 days passed. Fan Shanlu opened her eyes. She could no longer feel Wang Lin's presence. After pondering for a moment, she got up and walked out of the stone room. After Fan Shanlu left, no one came to the stone room or noticed Wang Lin's existence, but this was only temporary. Wang Lin's divine sense was descending down into the earth while facing the endless pressure from the will of fire. He charged toward the source of the will that was the head of the earth fire vein like he was racing against time. Another 3 days passed. By dusk of the 3rd day, Wang Lin had descended an unknown amount of distance underground. He could now see the head of the soul of the earth fire vein. This head was hundreds of thousands of feet large. It looked ancient, and even its breathing was filled with decay. Wang Lin's essence true body charged forward and entered the head of the dragon. The moment he entered, the main dragon soul of the main earth fire vein trembled and let out a shocking roar. This roar spread toward the surface and caused the vein to tremble. The mountain above trembled, large amounts of rocks fell, and a dense sea of fire spread out from the mountain. This sudden change caused the expression of the young woman in the cave at the mountain peak to change. Her divine scent spread out without hesitation and enveloped the mountain. What guts! The young woman charged out and arrived at the bottom of the mountain in a flash. She rushed into the cave and blew open the red door to the stone room. The moment the door was blasted open, Wang Lin's body, which was 370 feet away, was surrounded by fire. A suction force came from below and dragged his body toward the main earth fire vein below. Want to run? The young woman's face was filled with killing intent. Wang Lin was prepared for the fact that the early-stage void-turbulent young woman at the top of the mountain would notice him sooner or later. The moment the young woman moved, the part of the origin soul he had left in his body borrowed the fire to pull his body toward his essence true body. Along the way, the fire surrounded him, but he didn't feel any heat. This was because his fire essence true body had gone ahead and absorbed a lot of the will of fire. Otherwise, Wang Lin's body wouldn't have been able to withstand the heart after his essence true body left. It was also why his body hadn't entered the earth until the young woman arrived. The young woman's eyes were filled with killing intent. She could clearly feel that someone was absorbing the main earth fire vein like crazy. This caused killing intent to appear in her heart. You dare to pull such a trick before me? You're courting death. The young woman directly arrived at the 370-foot mark in the cave. With one step, she chased after Wang Lin underground. The two of them quickly moved further down underground. As the earth trembled, the red mountain was about to collapse. All the disciples flew out one by one and looked at the trembling, red mountain. Fan Shanlu was among them. She knew that this was related to Wang Lin, and she bitterly smiled in her heart. She thought about how no matter where Wang Lin went, he could cause a heaven-shaking change. Fan Shanmeng was also among the crowd, and her eyes lit up as she looked at the red mountain. A moment later, she suddenly looked at her younger sister, Fan Shanlu. Little sister, it was you brought the outsider into the stone room, Fan Shanmeng's voice echoed inside Fan Shanlu's mind. Although you are my elder sister, don't speak so casually. I was used by you for many years in the cave world, and now you are trying to frame me. Do you still have a conscience? Fan Shanlu turned to stare at her elder sister, and her eyes were cold. She could never forget that her elder sister had even used her in order to try to manipulate Wang Lin in the cave world. That moment of danger had left a chill in her heart and awakened her. Fan Shanmeng silently pondered and no longer spoke. As the red mountain trembled, the auras of the powerful cultivators of the Great Soul sect spread out. Terrifying divine senses surrounded this red mountain. This mountain was merely a main peak of the Great Soul sect, and the Great Soul sect had a total of 49 main peaks. Although not every peak had an early-stage void-turbulent cultivator, it showed how powerful the Great Soul sect was. In the depths of the main earth fire vein, Wang Lin's body was surrounded by fire and quickly going deeper. The young woman was chasing after him, filled with killing intent. However, the earth fire vein contained the will of Wang Lin's essence true body, so he was like a fish in water, moving faster and faster. As for the young woman, she was hindered by the will and found it difficult to use her full power. The distance between the two wasn't closing as they got closer and closer to the main earth fire vein. At the deepest part of the earth fire vein, inside the head of the dragon, Wang Lin's essence true body was sitting there and devouring the will of the dragon soul like crazy. Time was of the essence and danger was everywhere. Wang Lin had no time to think about other things. The only thought in his mind was to devour the will of this fire. As he devoured, the main dragon soul let out a painful roar. Wang Lin's essence true body's chin had completely turned human and no longer looked like a vermilion bird. This continued to extend, reaching his mouth and formed his lips. Wang Lin's essence true body seemed to be in a rush. Faster, devour more, he roared in his heart. The dragon soul roared and its body continued to twist. The pain of being devoured made it feel the crisis of death. As its body twisted, shockwaves spread in all directions. This caused the entire Great Soul sect to tremble. In particular, the red mountain rumbled and the peak of the mountain shattered. A sea of fire suddenly rushed out into the sky as if it wanted to burn the sky. This change attracted the attention of the Great Soul sect. The disciples in the mountain all retreated. What is going on? Could it be that someone went toward the main earth fire vein? Roars echoed and more Great Soul sect disciples arrived. The young woman underground obviously felt the change on the surface. She looked gloomy, and her beautiful face was covered in frost. She looked at the escaping Wang Lin and her right hand formed a seal. A bronze mirror appeared in her hand. Ancient mirror Dao pattern, turn into the shadow of the heavens and earth, kill that person. The young woman waved her right hand and the ancient mirror shined brightly. A large amount of black gas came out of the mirror and formed a ghostly face. With a roar, the ghostly face charged forward at breakneck speed. In a flash, it closed in more than half the distance to Wang Lin. It was still closing in, and in a flash, it was less than 300 feet from him. Wang Lin's mind was split in half. One was in the essence true body to devour the will of fire, and the other inside his body to escape from the young woman. The moment the ghostly face was 300 feet away from him, Wang Lin turned around and there was a flash of coldness in his eyes. The Great Soul Sect's ghostly face spell, Wang Lin's eyelids trembled and he took a step with his right foot. Ripples echoed and he disappeared without a trace. The moment he disappeared, the ghostly face rushed over and devoured the location Wang Lin was at. Thunderous rumbles echoed deep inside the earth. The moment the young woman arrived and stopped here, she couldn't help but frown. While pondering, she looked up as she felt Wang Lin reappear in the depths of the earth again. He is able to teleport inside the main earth fire vein, I can't underestimate him. The young woman had also tried to teleport under the will of the main earth fire vein but was unable to do so. Although she was surprised Wang Lin could do it, she didn't really consider it a huge deal. He didn't teleport before, that means it must cost him a lot to teleport here. I want to see how many times he can teleport. The young woman let out a cold snort and waved her jade-like hand. The ghostly face appeared once more and brought her deeper into the earth to chase Wang Lin. Wang Lin's physical body continued to charge down. Every time the ghostly face and the woman were going to catch up, he would teleport away. However, he didn't go directly toward his essence true body but slightly off target each time. As a result, although his movements were subtle, the direction ended up being completely different. Wang Lin's essence true body was in a relatively safe state with his body distracting the young woman, so there was no one to disturb it. It began to devour even faster. Wang Lin's essence true body slowly formed its nose as he continued to devour. The main earth fire vein struggled like crazy, but it couldn't stop Wang Lin's true essence body from absorbing it. This had nothing to do with cultivation level, it was a devouring between two types of fire. The main earth fire vein was obviously not Wang Lin's match. Soon, Wang Lin's true essence body's eyes turned from the vermilion bird eyes to two human eyes. These eyes were calm, but under the calmness one could see two fires burning within those eyes. The soul of the earth fire vein would release violent fluctuations every time it struggled. The earth trembled and thunderous rumbles echoed. Wang Lin's essence true body formed a seal, and with a roar, his forehead changed from a vermilion bird to real skin. The moment his nose, eyes, and forehead formed, a heaven-shaking will appeared within his essence true body. It had just been born, but it was rapidly growing as he devoured the soul of main earth fire vein. From a distance, Wang Lin's true essence body had changed completely from the forehead down. Only the top of his head and his hair still had the appearance of a vermilion bird. The hair was obviously the long vermilion bird feathers. Only the hair remains, then my essence true body will form completely. Wang Lin's eyes lit up. However, at this moment, due to the earth fire vein struggle causing such a powerful vibration, the young woman chasing Wang Lin stopped and came out of the ghostly face. Her expression changed several times before she clenched her teeth. A miscalculation. This person has an avatar even deeper down. He used his original body to attract my attention, and while I chased him, I unknowingly ignored his avatar. The main earth fire vein's trembling should have stopped while I chased him, but it became even more intense instead. Damn it! The young woman reacted and her killing intent became even more intense. She gave up chasing Wang Lin's original body and went into the depths of the main earth fire vein, toward Wang Lin's essence true body. The moment the young woman stopped chasing and changed directions, Wang Lin immediately noticed. He revealed a calm smile. The reason he had left his original body in the stone room, aside from the fact that his original body couldn't withstand the heat before his essence true body devoured enough, was to distract the pursuers. Now he had successfully delayed for a while. This video will end here.